Welcome to the Tokenized Economy. Here is today's explainer on immutability. All right, let's dive right into the big question. Once a transaction is on a blockchain, can it ever be changed? Can you go back and tweak the details later? It's a simple question, but the answer, well, that's what makes this whole technology so revolutionary. And the answer really boils down to this one single idea: immutability. Now, I know it sounds like a super technical word, but stick with me because the concept itself is actually pretty straightforward and, honestly, incredibly powerful. So, what is it? Simply put, immutability just means that once information hits a blockchain, it is set in stone. You can't alter it, you can't delete it. It's permanent, for good. You'll often hear people describe it as an append-only system. And all that really means is you can add new stuff, you can append new transactions, new records, but you can never, ever go back and mess with what's already been recorded. The past is locked. Okay, to really get a feel for this, let's use an analogy. Think of it like a notebook, but not just any notebook. Imagine it's a shared notebook, and every single thing written in it is done with permanent ink. You know, the kind you absolutely can't erase. Once it's on the page, it is there to stay. But here's where it gets really clever. This isn't just your notebook. Imagine thousands of people are all watching this same notebook all at once. So could you secretly tear out a page? No way. Could you try to scratch something out? Nope. Everyone would notice immediately. So what happens if you make a mistake? Well, you don't erase it. Instead, you just write a new entry on a new page that says, hey, correction to what I wrote back on page 5. And just like that, you have a perfect, transparent history of everything: the original entry, the mistake, and the correction. Nothing is ever hidden. All right, so the shared notebook analogy is a fantastic way to picture it. But how do you actually do that in a digital world? With computers, we're used to editing and deleting stuff all the time, right? How does a network actually enforce this kind of permanence? Well, it all comes down to some really clever tech. First, transactions get bundled together into what's called a block. Then, and this is the key part, each new block is cryptographically linked to the one right before it. Think of it like a chain, where every link is mathematically locked to the previous one. Now, if you wanted to go back and change just one tiny detail in an old block, that would instantly break the cryptographic link. And to cover your tracks, you wouldn't just have to rewrite that one block, you'd have to rewrite every single block that came after it, all at the same time across thousands of computers around the world. It's basically designed to be an impossible task. So you can see this is way more than just a neat tech trick, right? This has massive implications for how we build trust in the real world, especially in a place like finance. It's creating a whole new level of confidence for institutions. And this isn't just theory, we're already seeing it in action. Think about complex financial markets. Distributed ledgers are being used right now for things like repo and collateral transactions, for issuing digital bonds, and for keeping fund records straight. Why? Because when the record is permanent, everyone involved can trust the exact same history without having to constantly double-check each other's work. What you end up with is an audit trail that is essentially tamper-resistant. It's all out in the open. Now, for regulators, for big institutions, for anyone who absolutely needs to trust their historical data, this is a total game changer. It provides a level of certainty that's just really, really hard to achieve with older traditional systems. Let's really spell out the difference here. In a lot of traditional systems, right, someone with the right permissions can just go in and edit or delete a record. And sometimes you'd never even know it happened. But with a blockchain, remember our notebook? You correct a mistake by adding a new transaction. This means you preserve the full, honest history of everything: the original entry, the mistake, and the fix. It's a huge shift from a world of potentially hidden changes to one of total transparency. So when you step back and look at the whole picture, you realize something crucial. Immutability isn't just some random feature. It's not a nice to have. It's the absolute bedrock. It's the foundation the whole thing is built on. And really, if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this quote right here. Immutability is not just a technical feature, it's the foundation of trust in blockchain systems. It's the magic ingredient that lets people, companies, you name it, who might not even know each other, to agree on a single shared history of events, without needing a big bank or some other central authority to vouch for it. Hope you found this breakdown helpful. If you want more short explainers just like this one on blockchain, tokenization, and financial markets, definitely hit that subscribe button. And hey, drop a comment below. Let us know what questions you have or what topics you want us to tackle next. Thanks for tuning in.